So it finishes in the FA Cup semi-final. Forest 0, Man City 2. Welcome to your player ratings. Good morning, good evening, or good night. I hope you guys are doing well. And welcome to the player ratings, where it finishes Forest 0, City 2. And it's a bit of a mixed bag because conceding that early goal 2 minutes in it kind of just throws the plan out of the window. You know, the ball going in between the lines into who scored for them? I can't even remember. But, you know, Danilo not closing the man down, then the player being left behind him, low shot into the bottom corner, and it's 1-0. But then we just didn't change tacks at all. You kind of just felt that it was Rico Lewis. Thank you. That was it. Kind of just felt like Nuno would have taken going in 1-0 at half time. But that first half was too defensive, way too defensive. 0 shots off target, 0 shots on target, 0 shots on the goal. Now, you come out the second half, start a lot better. Callum Hudson-Odoi goes down the wing, puts it pretty much on a plate for Elanga. He's got to open his foot up, send it across goal, and that makes it 1 apiece. But he drags it to the left and misses it. And that was the story of the second half. Very similar to the Villa story. Chances were created, chances weren't finished. Gibbs-White with an open goal. I think for me, with the Gibbs-White chance, he took it too heavily around the keeper, forced himself wider. But even when you look at it from behind the goal, the ankle was still wide open for him just to tap it in. And still, he manages to hit the other post. He can't miss that one. Elanga can't miss that one. Taiwo hits the post as well. And then City scored when did they score? It was just after the Elanga chance, wasn't it? A corner after Sels does a heroic clearance off the floor on the line and hooks it behind for a corner. The marking was poor. Murillo loses the flight of the ball. Sels ends up in no man's land in between his line and the ball. And 2-0, and is pretty much job done at 2-0. Yes, we created the better of the chances after that, but we're just, look, our midfield is so poor. Outside of Anderson, Danilo was utter crap. I'm sorry to use that word, but it's the first word that comes to mind when describing it. It was poor from Danilo. He should not have been starting. He shouldn't have been. Dominguez, for me, was a bit of a ghost in the first half and then had a really good, strong second half, I thought. He's the one who was started to do the press and close down. And, you know, he ended up creating that chance for Morgan Gibbs-White. But you can blame whatever player you want. The responsibility for me, I'm sorry to say, goes on Nuno. The tactics were too defensive. The press wasn't there. The crowd was brilliant. It just you felt that if Forest could have got one, the crowd could have carried them over to a second and maybe extra time and what have you. I was really surprised with the lack of energy we started with after the way the crowd hype. By the way, the Man City fans, embarrassing. Like, they couldn't fill their quota. I know they haven't got a lot of fans, but still, it's Wembley. You get me? But it's got to be said that they were the better team. They dominated it. I thought Bernardo Silva was brilliant for them. Kovacic as well. They just bossed that midfield, and our midfield doesn't exist because it has to hold hands with our defensive line. Look, for me, what needed to happen after going 1-0 down was you have to try and move that defensive line at least 5 yards higher up so you start competing for the ball in the midfield region. Because even when we were winning the ball, it was lump it forward, straight back to Diaz or Guaviol, one of those two, and then the next wave of City attack starts. It wasn't good enough tactically at all. And honestly, I don't think City had to get out of second gear. I don't think they had to get out of second gear. So that's my take on the game. The argument will be that Forest did and should have created enough chances to at least score a goal or two. I get that. But you can't give teams 45-minute head start leads. We did this against Villa, we did this against Newcastle, and we've done this against Man City. 3 really good teams, we decide to give them a free 45-minute head start. And then yes, you come out in the second half and you play better, but why can we have had that drive from the second half in the first half? That's what I don't understand. Why do we have to play so... That's the right word, Jeff. Lethargic in the first half, like they're tired. Look, you've also got to take into consideration Ola Einar didn't make it to the game. Nico Williams was suspended. Ryan Yates was suspended and what have you. But at the end of the day, I've said it all season and I'll say it again. Champions League to me is more important than the FA Cup. If we won the FA Cup, cool. It's a bonus to me. But at least now we have a clear run in the league and we can focus on that. So, whatever. We're out. But the performance wasn't good enough. Yeah, I don't really know what else. Let's just get into the player ratings then, guys. Please remember to hit that like button. Make sure you've subscribed as well. Let's kick this across to the player ratings and see how you guys have rated all the players. So let's do that now. Boom. There we go. Also, don't forget to check out the new giveaway from Football Prizes. You can win this signed, framed Forest shirt. And look at the frame. It looks absolutely fantastic. To get that, all you need to do is click on the link that's in the chat, or you can scan the QR code that's on your screen now. Get in there. And guess what? It's 99p. It doesn't even cost you £1 to enter. You can have as many tickets as you want. 50 instant prize wins as well. Some signed shirts, some signed frame shirts as well if you hit the right ticket numbers. So go grab yourself a couple of tickets, only 99p. All right, let's start with Matt Sels. Overall, a decent game. Couple of worldy saves, as always with him. I think he's at fault for the second goal, partially. I think he just found himself between a rock and a hard place. I don't know if you're coming out, come out or stay on your line. He ended up doing neither. But outside of that, the clearance for that corner that led to the goal was very good from him. A couple of decent saves as well throughout the game. Overall, probably a 6 for me, for Matt Sels. At the end of the day, he conceded 2 goals. 6 for me. 1865 says the long balls are frustrating. Bro, I've got so sick of the long balls that I can't even bother to talk about them. We've got 5 games left of the season. We do, so at least we can focus on those. We've got to bounce back against... who we got next, guys? Brentford. Let's see what you guys did. You went 5.9 for Sels, about the same as I did there. So get your votes in. 63 of you guys have voted. As you can see, it's a live counter. How am I saying 4 for Sels? Poor today. I didn't think he was poor. I just thought second goal you can blame. I don't think you can blame him for the first one for me. And he did produce a couple of decent saves. I think 6 is quite fair. Okay, let's move on to Zack Abbott. I actually thought he had a decent game. Where is he? We got Abbott. There he is. Yeah, I thought a good game from Abbott. Overall, I think the kid did himself very proud, if I'm being honest with you. I thought he played well. Look composed. I think they underused him, if I'm being honest. I think there's a few times where he was overlapping on the right and was being ignored. Maybe they were like, he's the kid in the team. But overall, I thought he was all right. Didn't do too bad at all. So I'll give him a 7. It's a shame, he wasn't on the winning team, playing for his boyhood club and all that. But But if you play him, you've got to trust him. And I'm talking about the other players here. When you look at Man City, O'Reilly got thrown in a few weeks back against Bournemouth, I think it was. And they trusted in him and gave him the ball. And, he made a difference. You have Rico Lewis being trusted. I know he's been around a bit longer. But when you start chucking these players in, trust them. Otherwise, don't play them. There's no point in putting him on just to put a warm body out there. And I thought he looked quite composed. And I don't think he had a bad game at all. So I'll give him a 7. Several times MGW didn't pass to him, says Ryan. Yeah, MGW was kind of ignoring him a bit. But then again, how many passes did MGW complete? You know what I'm saying? So you guys are giving him a 6.1. I think that's a little harsh, guys. How old is he? 19? 19, 6.1. A little harsh. I thought he did absolutely fine. All right, let's move on to the centre-backs. Milenkovic, for me, was the better out of the two centre-backs. I don't feel he was as dominant in that box. I felt that the defence at times wasn't as organised as we've seen it throughout the season. Let's take a sip of a drink here. But yeah, out of the two of them, he was all right. I'd give him a 6. He wasn't really... Was he at fault for either goal? I can't think so. He was all right, but about a 6 for me. You guys have gone a 6.2, so a little higher than I did. Murillo, on the other hand, I don't think had a great game. I just think that second goal was on him for me. This is something I've noticed a lot with Murillo. He just can't judge the flight of the ball. He gets under the flight of the ball. For me, clearly obvious in that second one. Also, at some points, I don't think the communication was that good. Again, there was a chance where Zack Abbott was going to clear it. And Zack Abbott was facing, up the pitch. And Murillo just, lack of communication, just smashes it out for a corner instead of leaving it for Abbott, who's facing the right way. So, was he at fault for the first goal? I can't remember the first goal. For me, I think maybe Danilo was at fault. So, I'll give him a 5. I think a 5 out of 10. Murillo has had more bad game performance than good the past few weeks. Ever since the Brazil game, I think. Ever since the Brazil game, he hasn't been quite spot on. Rach says, hello there, Forest ladies. Won today, so that's a positive. Big up to the Forest ladies. Doing an excellent job. Excellent job. You guys gave him a 5.4. Maybe I'm being a little harsh. I don't know. Okay, next one up. Toffolo. Shall I be honest with you? I didn't really notice Toffolo too much today. The most I noticed was his throw-ins. I think he did okay. Nothing exceptional, nothing bad. Like, he would be the definition of an average 6 for me. Just a straight up 6. I thought he was okay, not spectacular. I didn't think he was bad, but I didn't think he was great. So he's a 6 for me today. What are you guys saying? What time are you on Never a Foul? I think it's 9:15 tonight, I think. Can you do a live call in? I can't, bro. I can't. I gotta go pick up the kids in a little bit. He's the definition of a good squad player. Yeah, he's a squad player, but you don't want to get to the stage where you're relying on Toffolo to come in. You guys gave him a 5.7. It's about the same, I guess, as me. This is why we need Champions League, need the money to benefit the squad depth, says Stoney. I fully agree. Guys, please don't forget to hit the like button. How are we doing on the likes? Make sure you're subscribed as well if you're new here. We are only on 48 likes. Shout out to William Jones for subscribing. All right, we should be well over 100 by now. Well, I know there's disappointment in the chat and what have you, but it only takes a second to hit that like button. So make sure you've hit that like button. And let's get into this midfield, man. This midfield is becoming the bane of my life. It really is. So let's start it on from the right-hand side with Dominguez. I thought Dominguez in the first half was a ghost. He doesn't progress the ball for me. Where his strengths are is what you saw in the second half, where I thought he had a decent second half, actually, where he's pressing on the front foot. He's the one who created Gibbs-White's chance. He, in general, was showing a little bite in that midfield. But his passing game and his passing range ain't there for me. He's not good enough for Champions League. Unless you want to play him as an 8 who's pressing higher up the pitch. But it's not Nuno's tactics. It's not. So, what do I say with him? First half, he was a 4. Second half, he was like a 6.5. That's the best way I can say it. MGW apologized, said he should have scored one of them. I'd rather he scored and didn't need to apologize. I really do. Ian saying 6 needs to press more for me. I don't know what to rate him. I really thought he was very ghost-like in the first half. But he did step up in the second. I'm going to give him a 6. Give him a 6. Probably a bit too generous, but at least there was an improvement on his performance. Man City players, better players today, but the effort from the Forest lads showed them up second half. Yeah, but Brainy, it wasn't there in the first half. It wasn't there in the first half. Terrible day. Morgan Gibbs-White was the only one who turned up for you. I don't agree, bro. I thought Anderson probably. I don't know, but Anderson faded in the second half. Anyway, let's see what you guys gave him. You guys gave him a 5.4. All right, let's move this along. Oh God, Danilo. Look, I've been quite soft on Danilo since he's come back with his ankle injury and everything, and I get that. I really do. But he was so poor today. I think, although he technically wasn't at fault for the first goal, he got stuck between the two players. His passing is horrific. It's absolutely horrific. And I know this will offend Ant, and I don't really care. But I just don't think... I don't even think it's about match fitness now. I think it's about confidence. I don't think he looks confident on a football pitch right now. And he shouldn't be starting. He shouldn't be starting for me. And he's had a couple of stinkers in the last few games. And I'm separating the injury from the performance. If you guys want to put those two together and say, look, he's been injured, he's come back. I get it. I've done it before. I've given him that excuse. But the fact that he's playing consistently in game after game, it's not working in there. It's not working in there. He is stinky. 2 for me. Danilo, just behind the pace of the game since he's been back, needs to have a good pre-season. I would actually just take him out of the firing line until the end of the season. Unless we desperately need him. And I agree. I think he just needs to rebuild himself up during a pre-season. And that'll be better. Look, the horrificness of his injury should probably have kept him out for most of this season. He just needs to be taken out the limelight, just work a bit more on the training pitch, get a good preseason under his belt, and then kind of go again next season. But honestly, I'm not convinced he's good enough. Danilo needs therapy. He's too scared to tackle. It could be playing on his mind, Sophie. It could be playing on his mind. Anyway, I've given him a 2. Let's see what you guys are giving him. You went higher, 3.1. You'd have taken him off after 15 minutes. I don't think I would have started him. I probably would have. I think it would have made more sense to play Gibbs-White in that 8 position. Dominguez maybe as the holder or Anderson and gone with that 3. And then why Elanga didn't start, I have no idea. But anyway, we'll get into that in just a second. Quick reminder, hit that like button. Make sure you're subscribed as well. If you are new here, we got 400 in the house. Please get those likes up, guys. This is just as tough as it is for you guys as it is for me to do. Disappointed but proud. We should have had Elanga on from the start and took the game to City. Let's get stuck in and get a top 4 finish, says Jeff. Wrong midfield, says Adam. I do agree with that. Okay, so Danilo, Anderson. I thought Anderson was player of the match for the first half. I think he kind of faded a bit in the second half, if I'm being honest with you. But first half, I'd go as far as say he was the only player who showed some standards in that first half. But he did tail off in that second half. Overall, on the balance of the whole game, I'd probably still say he was the best player on the pitch for us. So I'll give him 6.5, 7, something like that. Problem I've got is it doesn't take much for you to look good in our midfield. That's my problem with it. It doesn't take much. I'm going to give him a 6.5. 6.5 for me. He tried second half, but showed heart and fight, says Adam. Matt's giving him a 5. I'm very interested to see what happens in the transfer window after this season. Very bad first half, along with our shooting. Our shooting is woeful, man. Our shooting is woeful. All right, let's see what you guys did. You guys went 5.9, so about a 6. Sorry, but Sangare should not have even been on the bench. He cannot run, he cannot pass, and he has no positional sense. Sci-Fi, let me know which one of the midfielders outside of Anderson you think has any of that in our squad. I'd be very, very intrigued to know that one. Okay, 5.9 for you guys from Anderson. Morgan Gibbs-White. I just can't get out of my head the chance he missed, guys. I can't. He took it too far around the keeper, and then he just overhooks it onto the other side. He had a cracking shot that hit the crossbar with his weaker foot. Probably best shot I've seen him ever take. I don't know. I have no idea what to rate him. I don't think he was influential enough in the first half. And he's got to score one of those chances in the second half. You can say, okay, the one that hits the crossbar, you're unlucky. But the open goal one, he's got to score. He's got to score it. What do I give him? 5? He can't shoot. I hate to say he can't shoot. I wish he would prove me wrong on his freaking shooting, man. I really do. Oh, I gave him a 5. You gave him a 1 for that missed chance and shit. That's pretty harsh. 5.8, not a 6. He did the minimum of what he's expected. Simon saying I'm extremely harsh. Bro, I can't get that miss out of my head. Silver linings, Wolfie. Your brother must feel even more shy. Oh, what was the Liverpool score? I haven't even looked at it. He does whine too much. When I said he reminds me of Bruno Fernandes, just saying 5-1, bloody hell. Okay, let's move on. Oh, let's see what you guys did. You guys are about the same, man. So as you saying I'm harsh, you need to speak to everyone else in there. I mean, you scored him less than I did with a 4.9. First time in years to get to Wembley and we don't turn up. Well, technically we're at Wembley for the playoff final, isn't it? The miss does not define his whole game, though, Wolfie. You need to be more objective. So what else did he do that was good in that game? I mean, his work rates were his work rates. He always works hard. I have no problem with that. But that miss does define his game, as does the Elanga miss define his game as well. Because if either of those go in, we have a chance of winning the match, or at least getting back into the match, should I say. He can't miss these easy chances. He can't. If he is our poster boy, then he's got to score them. Everyone's a football manager. No, not everyone's a football manager. We're just fans that are watching the game. That's it. Like, we don't have to agree on our opinions. I just expect more out of him. But I'd expect even less now in his finishing. Get some point. Our finishing percentage had to drop. And unfortunately, today was that point. It was the same story at Villa, wasn't it? It was the same story at Villa. Like you and some of us have said, he's not a 10. He has to score too much. I agree. I actually think we would see an even better player in the 8. An even better player in the 8. Take away the pressure of having to shoot and just link up the play, work hard, box to box it kind of thing. And, you know, we probably see an even better performance from him, in my opinion. Anyway, let's move on. Hudson-Odoi. He's gone, since he scored that goal against Man City where we beat them in the league, for me, he's gone off the boil a bit. He's gone off the boil a bit. I don't think he had a great game today. He kind of, for me, he drifts in and out of games. Like in the first half, you could say, okay, he wasn't getting any balls into him to run. Second half, he came on. He did create a fantastic chance for Elanga. Again, I just expect more from him. I expect more from him. If Simon, it's fine to let the disappointment blur your judgment. Like we can't police how people are feeling. If people are okay with it, fine. If they're not, I'm not. And nothing's blurring my judgment because I care more about the league, and I've been consistent with that. If we won, and I was consistent with this, if we won the FA Cup, for me, that was a bonus. It was a bonus. So nothing's clouding my judgment. I didn't realistically expect us to go through and win this. Chuck saying, yeah, managers know how to freeze out Callum Hudson-Odoi. Yeah, the problem you got at Callum Hudson-Odoi is he doesn't go on the outside enough for me. And if he's coming in on the inside and he's not scoring his cheat code shot, then he's not doing much. But when he went on the out, like if you look at it, the prime example is the chance he created for for Elanga. He got around the outside of the defender, whips the ball in, a lovely ball, by the way. And we should have scored. We should have scored. But outside of that, was he too influential on the game? Maybe there was a little 5-minute patch halfway into the second half where him, Morgan Gibbs-White, Toffolo were linking up and what have you. But overall, I just don't think he was impactful enough. I'm going to give him a 5 as well for me. Don't give a monkey's crap about this game. Our priorities against Brentford. That's where my head's at, Malcolm. That's where my head's at. It was a bonus if we went through. First half was obvious that our left side was our main threat, and they shut that down. We missed Nico and Einar today, didn't we? Yeah, we've been missing both. Well, definitely Einar we've been missing for a few weeks. But yeah, Nico as well. He's been fantastic. Nick, you sum it up. We just don't pass the ball well enough. We hoof the ball way too many times to no one as well, man. To no one. I just don't get why. I don't get why. We've lost that clinical finish. We have, Jeff. We have. It used to be turn it over, bang, find the back of the net. Look, if we do make Champions League, which I'm still very confident we do, we need to overhaul this whole midfield. For me, we're going to need a backup / someone who can fight for Wood, because we're about to talk about Wood in a second. Big up Jackson. Thank you for subscribing. And we're going to need a lot of players this summer. This isn't we just need 1 or 2 squad players. It's going to need a lot. It's going to need a lot. Okay, let's move. Let's see what you guys said actually for Hudson. Wow, you went 4.6, even lower than I did. Passing and finishing practice all week. Forget everything else. Problem is, Daniel, they're doing defensive drills most of the time, aren't they? Most of the time. Okay, let's talk about Wood. Wood was so anonymous today. Now, it will be the usual debate. Was there any service given into him, or was he poor today? I think it was both. I think it was both. Actually, I believe so. I think at 9:15. So for me, Woods, here's still my problem with what's happening with Chris Wood. And here has been my problem since pretty much most of the season. He doesn't win the long balls from Matt Sels. So stop aiming at him. He doesn't jump that high for a guy who's quite tall. Yes, I know he scored with his head against Spurs the other night. But as a target man, as in, and I'm talking about the long balls here, I think he does link up the play well when it's on the floor. But why do we keep repeating the same thing and punting the ball long at him when I think he won 2 of them today at a push? Did he have a shot? I don't remember him having a shot. I don't remember him having a shot, if I'm being honest with you. I thought he was quite synonymous today. Synonymous, anonymous, whatever. And by the way, I still start him every game. I'm just saying, utilize his strengths. And his strengths should be in front of goal. You almost need, if you're going to do this flick on thing, right? It reminds me so much of when we had Grant Holt up front with Forest in the Championship. And we would go long to him, but he would win a lot of those headers and flick them on. We do sci-fi. We do not pick up the second balls. I don't know what you're seeing there. Not only does he not win the ball, but even if he does, the 2 times he wins the ball, we may get a touch on the second ball and we then lose it straight away. Jason Lee was king of flick-ons. Yeah, him as well. Grant Holt's the one that always stuck out in my mind. It's like, punt it forward to him, flick it on. I used to call him flick-on boy, man. We've lost our way with our tactics, says Ian. We have a bit. Sels done well this year, but doesn't come out and help the defense, says Kev. Matt saying sci-fi, you're way off the mark. Matt, I fully agree with you. It's not even like, even when the ball is kicked long and it's not out of Sels' hands and it's a defensive clearance, there's no one up there anyway. So the ball's getting punted forward to no one the majority of the time. Man City or whoever we're playing against, let's be real, puts it down on the floor and then play their way back up the pitch. We get a tackle, we punt it back forward, and it's down on the pitch. Goal kick, it's aimed at Wood. 8 out of 10 times he misses the header. The 2 times he gets it, the second ball drops to the opposition player anyway. Our defense is always heavily pressed on. Midfield can't pass. It's impressive we are where we are in the league, I gotta say. Send it out wide, win a throw. We've moved 69 yards up the pitch. Simple. Yeah, even that would be better. January window looks a right failure now. I mean, I got told I was negative when I said that. Sels is too stationary as a keeper altogether. He is consistently flat-footed. Sels isn't a keeper that likes to come off his line. I think he's one of the most like average off lines. He's the closest to his lines. Sels punts and we concede all possession, says Matt. We need to have more, to vary more instead of inviting them on again. But Matt, that's the plan. Is like, as weird as it sounds, the plan is to kick the ball high up the pitch to give them the ball because we don't want the ball. You get me? That's like the plan. That's part of the tactics. So anyway, look, Wood, I'm giving him, sorry, Jess, if you're watching, a 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10. I just don't think, I know he got no service, but he's got to win. See what you guys did. 4.2. 4.2. All right. Substitutions. Let's run through these subs quickly. It was 5-1 to Liverpool. Hold that, Mo. Hold that. Okay, subs. First one on was Anthony Elanga. Again, you can't look past the miss, can you? That's the first thing. If you think about Anthony Elanga's game, the first thing you think about is the miss. And remember, the difference between his miss and Morgan Gibbs-White's miss is that Elanga missed it at 1-0. That was to level at 1-1. I actually thought he brought some energy into the second half and some decent runs and what have you. But that miss, it's the thing that's going to be sticking out, isn't it? It's going to be sticking out. I don't know what to give him. I thought he should have started. I thought he brought good energy, good runs, couple of decent crosses, but that misses that miss. Just back from Wembley, we didn't turn up first half, and the misses just signaled that it wasn't our day today, says Sharpie. Glad you got back safely, bro. I'm going to give him a 5. His corners and free kicks weren't on today. Yeah, I think Sosa delivers a better corner. I don't know why he ushered him away. But we looked a lot better when he came on. Yeah, the 4-2-3-1 seemed to be more balanced. Obviously, Rob tomorrow, Grumpy Hills Rose, going to be like, oh, I told you 4-2-3-1. Balance. So, yeah, you're right, Vic. He could have used his left foot. Or I think just open up your right foot a bit and put it in the other corner. I blame Rob and his unlucky hat. Rob did go with the hat today, by the way. I spoke to him just before the match. You guys went 5.6 for Elanga. Daz saying, on my way back, at least I've had a good day. Shout out to you. Shout out to everyone who traveled down. I thought you made some cracking noise. And Wembley looks beautiful in red. And City fans should be embarrassed. They really should. Okay, after Elanga, Sangare came on after 71 minutes. I don't think he had a massive impact, if I'm being honest with you, on the game. He made a couple of passes that went forward, but I think he got, like, I saw, who was it? Was it Gundogan run straight past him? And Gundogan's old, man. It might not have been Gundogan. But I don't really think he impacted the game. The only positive I can say to Sangare is he tried some forward passes. The rest, by the way, the amount of sideways and backwards passing we do when we actually have the ball for the 2 minutes in the match is so over the top. No, 1865, it should be tomorrow night. So I think he's probably a 4, something like that. 4 for me. I still would consider starting him. I don't see the harm in it. None of these midfielders outside of Anderson, for me, have made a stake into that position. So why not? So I'll give him a 4. You guys gave him 5.1. Wow, and people tell me I've got Sangare goggles. Okay, fair enough. And then Taiwo came on after that. Taiwo had another chance. He hit the post. I thought he was a lot better than Wood was. I thought Taiwo got into them a little bit, created a decent chance. Could have scored, should have scored, you would say. I thought he was okay. Wasn't sensational, but I'm talking by the standards of what we saw today. I'll actually give Taiwo a 6. I thought he was okay today. You guys, wow. 4.36. That feels a little harsh, guys. That feels a little harsh. I'm like, 4.36. Wow. His chance was awkward, side of the boot. Yeah, it looked funny. Are you guys agreeing with yourselves? Am I way off the mark here? Was he a real? I thought he was a comfortable 5.5, 6. 4.35. That I'm sorry, that's harsh, guys. That's harsh. Wait, what did you lot give Wood? You gave Wood a 4.3, and you gave Taiwo 0.05 more than Chris Wood, who literally didn't have a chance or create a chance or anything. Just like let that sink in for you guys, man. Let that sink in. It was a reflex shot check. It was so you guys gave Chris Wood a 4.3 and Taiwo a 4.35. I guess technically a 4.4. Anyway, whatever. It's your. Well, this is the beauty of it. You can do what you want to do. But it was a sub. So what about sub rule? We got rid of the sub rule ages ago. Nice try. I gave Wood a 3 and Shinboy a 5, says Nick. Wood ran his legs off today without service. Taiwo put in a shift as well, though. Okay, next on was Jota Silva. That was in the 82nd minute. He came in as right back. I don't know. How do we judge his performance? It was all right. 5. 5 for me. This is playing out of position. What have you guys said? 5.1. 5.1, okay, about the same. Guys, please hit that like button if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribed if you're new. We're on 140 likes, so if 10 more of you could hit that like button, it'd be much appreciated. Get us over 150. Okay, and then the final sub was Sosa. I actually thought Sosa was okay, you know. I thought Sosa was okay. I think there's a player in there. I would like to see him get a little more game time. I mean, he came on in the 83rd minute, 7 minutes to impact it. I thought he was all right. Nearly went through, but was just offside. I am a 5. 5 out of 10. 7 players will leave at the end of the season, says Jason. I don't know. Why the last so many games haven't we turned up with the strongest wingers? I don't know, Ian, man. Yeah, Mark, I agree. We did not turn up. It was too late to turn up at halftime. You guys went, wow, 4.69. I guess that's not miles off. And then the one I'm interested to see what you guys did was Nuno. So let me know your scores for Nuno in the chat. Let me know the scores for Nuno. I think Nuno got this completely wrong today. Completely wrong. And I'm not talking about the team selection. I'm not talking about why did he play Zack Abbott, for example, who I thought was all right. I'm talking about it's more the mentality of the team. Now, best way I can explain this is, right, today, for example, in my under-14s match, still played the same formation I do, which is a 3-4-3. But I said to them, I want to get 2-0 up so that I can change it at 2-0 to put 3 in the middle of midfield, right? So I was like, I want you to go out there and aggressively try and get 2 goals nice and early, right? So that we have options to then go for midfield 3, because I feel we might be a little light against these guys and what have you. So even though it was the same formation, it's the instructions are different, if that makes sense, yeah? And I felt he did the same instruction. He did this formation, whatever it is, but the instructions he gave were sit back and let's get to halftime 0-0 or just a goal down. Keep us in the game, and what have you. So it doesn't really matter. He could have gone 2-5-4 or 1-5-4, one defender. We still would have been playing that defensive. I think he got it wrong. I think he got it wrong with the instructions, not the formation, not necessarily the personnel. Maybe Danilo. But once you go 1-0 down, at some point in that first half, he's got to say, right, let's try and move the back line up 5-7 yards. Let's move it up the pitch. Let's get the midfield to win the ball in the midfield area, not on the edge of your box. And that for me is where he got it wrong. So I'm going to give him a 3 out of 10. Something like that. That's probably too generous, to be honest. Now, again, this isn't a reflection on Nuno's season. This isn't me saying Nuno out, bring Cooper back in. This is me assessing this game in isolation, okay? You lot probably give him like a 7 or something. I don't know. All right, 3.5. All right, so you're looking at it from the same perspective as me. 2 minutes ruined the game plan. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Jolly Ollie saying far too generous, Wolfie. Maybe, bro. Maybe. I don't know. But it's all about the league, isn't it? Bring back Turner. Well, Turner's going to the final. We're not. So I guess he's technically having the last laugh there. All right, let's do the man of the match. There's not many to pick from, guys. I think man of the match is between Anderson, Abbott, who else? Danilo? I'm stuck after Anderson and Abbott. Who else makes the shortlist? Anderson and Abbott. I think that's it. Sels. Marilla. Nah, Marilla wasn't man of the match. Yeah, I'm just going with 2. I can't think of anyone. I'm hungry and tired. All right, get your votes in. Was man of the match Anderson or Abbott? You lot didn't come up with any suggestions, so get your votes in the chat. Wow, Abbott straight into a big lead there. Once you voted, just double check you've hit that like button as well, guys. This is very 50-50. Maybe we should put it down to 2. It's exactly 50-50. I'll give you 15-ish more seconds to get your votes in. Anderson taking a slight lead here with 58% of the votes. By the way, if you've never voted, it should pop up in the live chat. So make sure that's where you can click it. It's free as well to do. Don't worry. It's free to do. Right? Anderson's in the lead. I'm going to give you 10 more seconds to get your votes in. It's tight. It's tight. Abbott could swing it back. Excuse me. All right. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Your man of the match with 63% of the vote goes to Elliot Anderson. All right. So coming up, I think I'm on Never Have Fouled at 9:15. So if you want to watch that, let's see if they try and cook me. I don't know what ammunition they think they have. I'll also be back with some more match reaction or maybe a transfer video tomorrow. Grumpy Old Red should be tomorrow night, probably kicking off 8, half 8, something like that. Until then, that's it. The cup run has ended. We've got Brentford on Thursday, so all attention needs to turn to that. If you haven't already, please don't forget to hit that like button. Make sure you've subscribed as well if you are new. I'll see you guys in a little while. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And come on, you Reds.